Joining us now, Gregory Zuckerman, special writer at the Wall Street Journal, and Lawrence Cunningham, research professor at George Washington University and author of the essays of Warren Buffett, Lessons for Corporate America. I'll start with you. What were some of your fondest memories of Charlie Munger? And just like what we were talking about, can what he created at Berkshire, can that be replicated?
Well, thanks for having me. Charlie is a legend. You use that word, I think, properly in this case. And I knew him, had the fortune of knowing him for about 30 years. And, he called it like he saw it. He was not sugar-coated. People say he was cynical or curmudgeonly. That's probably all fair. But he was lucid, smart, incisive, thoughtful, and very good at coaching Warren, which was not an easy thing to do. But as you suggested, he helped guide Warren away from the scuttlebutt approach, the cigar butt approach to investing, towards the quality investing approach. And Warren said that made all the difference at Berkshire, starting in 1972. Could it be done again? It couldn't be done in exactly the same way, but some of the principles of trust, rationality, learnedness, focus, can still be important to a successful business. And they're still important at Berkshire as it continues to grow.
Greg, there are a lot of brilliant investors out there. What is it that made Charlie Munger so unique, so special in his investment approach?
Well, what I found really interesting is that a lot of the biggest mistakes that I've noticed over the years among really super smart and successful investors is the need to keep being active and to manage more money and to allocate and find the next great trade. Whereas Charlie emphasized that when I met with him and he's talked to other people, the need for patience. And there are times when you don't want to do anything. You sit on your hands, and it's really hard for hedge funds and other kinds of big investors to do that. And that's an advantage Charlie had, and Warren as well.
If someone is watching this right now and they're trying to figure out, can I invest like a Charlie Munger? Can I do what he did? What are some of his characteristics? And can they be replicated? Can I jump into his shoes and find success?
Well, I'd say the number one lesson is to find a good partner. Both Charlie and Warren credit each other for their own success. And they would have been successful without each other, but the stratospheric successes they achieved was because they had a reliable, trustworthy, intelligent partner. So that would be tip number one, whether it's your spouse, your business partner, or could be your parents, but find someone to bounce things off of. Charlie saved Berkshire many billions of dollars by telling Warren, no, don't do that. That'd be a mistake. And so having someone to check your logic, check your rationality would be extremely important.
Are there other investing legends alive right now outside of Warren Buffett? Do you see a next generation forming, or who does that torch get passed to from Buffett and Munger?
Well, they've got a great brain trust right there at Berkshire Hathaway with Todd Coombs and Ted Weschler, who manage the common stock portfolio, and Greg Abel and Ajit Jain, who are the vice chairs who allocate abundant capital. And so that generation is formidable at Berkshire. And indeed, at least in terms of the philosophy that Charlie is famous for, tens of thousands of people have learned it, have embraced it, and I think they'll continue to flourish by applying those principles.
And Greg, when you talk to Charlie and to Warren and to other people in the Berkshire universe, for that matter, what kind of perspective did you get on what sort of shaped them historically, for that matter, as well? You know, when you hear Munger say things like, there aren't as many opportunities now as there were when he started out, you know, what's sort of the historical context?
Well, things have changed, and he acknowledged that to me. I mean, frankly, their returns over the last decade or so are not nearly what they were in the past. So markets are much more efficient. And also their approach, which has worked, doesn't work for everyone. They've had a lot of good fortune as well. And Charlie, frankly, has done really great things away from Warren and away from Berkshire Hathaway, which you got to give him a lot of credit for, too. Things like Costco and BYD. Yeah, Berkshire got involved a little bit, then got out. But I find it just as fascinating that Charlie made these big bets on his own. He had conviction away from Berkshire Hathaway and away from Warren Buffett. You got to give him a lot of credit for that. I mean, Costco was a lifelong love affair he had, or decades-long love affair he had with Costco to the end. He's a director, and he was a big believer to the end. He spoke all about the beauty of retail, and Warren wasn't a believer necessarily in retail. So while we have to acknowledged their partnership and how they helped each other, and they really did. You also got to give Charlie some credit for some of his own investing.
Lawrence, as someone has written extensively about this pair, what do you think the days and weeks ahead look like for Warren Buffett? Do we see him on stage at that Berkshire meeting in 2024?
Well, Warren is undoubtedly...
Meaning because he passed the baton finally, formally, from the CEO perspective.
It's a great question. It'll be entirely up to him. My prediction is that Warren will continue to run Berkshire Hathaway until his final moment. As far as recognition of Charlie, they should probably have an empty chair on the stage at the Berkshire annual meeting in May. I think the transition has been underway for some time to those fellows I mentioned and to the next level of boards of directors, and so I think they'll continue with that. So I think Warren is bereft and despondent this season, but he'll carry forward as he always has done.
Yeah, definitely. And also, Greg, will we see maybe more visibility from the other folks who are running Berkshire right now?
It's a great question. We in the media have wanted that for a while. We'd love to have some access and dialogue. Warren is still the man, though, and you got to give him so much credit for things like Apple. Yes, others in the organization first placed the trade, but he's the one who expanded it. So I kind of agree that as for the foreseeable future, Warren will continue doing what he's doing. And frankly, he hasn't relied on Charlie as much in recent years, as much as he appreciates the friendship and the guidance. And he was so important earlier on. So I don't think this will have as much of an impact on Berkshire Hathaway in the near term.
All right. Thanks to you both so much. Gregory Zuckerman, special writer at the Wall Street Journal, and Larry Cunningham, a research professor at George Washington University and author of the Essays of Warren Buffett, Lessons for Corporate America.